Gold jacket, green jacket, who gives you?
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Gold Jacket, Green Jacket podcast. We're here for episode number 5. It is a pleasure to have you with us as always. My name is Christian Dragonetti, and I'm joined by Australian PGA professional Mr. Joel Mitchell. Joel, how you doing, my friend?
Fantastic. We're well on the way now.
I know, 5 episodes in, it feels like a lifetime.
Absolutely. How you going?
Yeah, I'm good, mate.
Have you gotten over today?
Sorry?
Have you gotten over today?
Yeah, it was a long one. It was a long one. Yeah, I choked it up a little bit. We had a round at Heritage today and public holiday Monday today, Labor Day.
Yes.
So we took advantage and went out and played at Heritage and I started off strong. Started off very strong and
Almost
just sort of fell
borderline sub 70 watch after 8 holes for you.
8, 9 holes, yeah.
After 8 holes for you.
And then a bit of a choke and the rest is history.
A little bit of that.
We've got plenty on the menu as always, Joel, but I want to get stuck into it because we've got a bit of an announcement to make. Now, we're very fortunate in our short existence to have been exposed to a number of great organizations and we've already had obviously the Pro-Am that we spoke about the last couple of weeks that we've, done some work for and it continues for us. The involvement with great organizations and companies and stuff, it's going to continue, it's going to grow. But we're very pleased to announce that the Gold Jacket, Green Jacket podcast is now proudly supported by Halfcaf Golf.
Yes.
This is a massive one for us.
It's already good early doors that we've had so much involvement with separate organisations. For one, Heidelberg Golf Club already have, 2 episodes in, they already said, hey, you've got a podcast. We had stuff all following, really.
Yeah.
We haven't really got our names out there yet. And they're sort of reaching out going, hey, do you want to do something for us?
Come and get involved.
Come and get involved. And same with Halfcaf Golf. Like,
Absolutely.
the boys from Heidelberg anyway.
Yeah, so the boys at Halfcaf are members at Heidelberg, and one of them in particular, Stuart, him and I have known each other for near on 15 years. We played soccer together as 15-year-olds. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so they've got themselves a clothing company. I'm wearing one of the polos now. This is the original grind polo, I believe.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah, so it's coffee-themed golf gear, which is really cool. The boys love their coffees. So they've put their hand out and said, why don't you give us a bit of a go on the podcast? We'll give you guys a bit of a go on our socials. And lo and behold, a nice little partnership has been born.
It's perfect, especially for people that live around that Yarra area, because that's sort of what our following will start to be.
Correct.
Particularly because I'm at Rosanna, you're at Heidelberg.
Yeah.
I'm also at Heritage. We all live around that Yarra Valley sort of area. And so are they. They're based there.
They are. Yeah.
So get a bit of a following with that.
Absolutely. And it's just...
get everyone knowing and talking about it.
And the way I explained it to the boys when we first came up with the idea is 2 groups of mates just supporting each other.
Yeah. Just... they'll share
help us out,
share some stuff
out.
of ours.
And who knows?
You wear their stuff, and it looks pretty good.
It's actually nice. The quality of the polos is really nice. They've got a second drop coming in a couple of weeks, couple of new colours, and then having spoken to Adam at the Pro-Am over the last couple of weeks as well, winter golf's coming, and they're starting to talk about expanding from just polos.
Surely they do like
quarter zips.
Surely they actually sell coffee.
No.
No,
I said that to them. I'm like, you should look into
what
finding
about mugs or something.
That I'm sure they're looking into it. They got
That'd be
great
cool. I'd buy
mind.
one of them.
They got great minds and great business acumen, so I'm sure they're really all over it. But yeah, we're really proud to be accompanied by them and supported by them. And just as much as they're supporting us, we support them. So be sure to go and check out Halfcaf Golf. We'll put their links down in the descriptions.
Well, if they get some coffee mugs going, I'll be more than happy to have them here.
Absolutely.
And plus, we're actually having a chat today about stubby holders.
Yeah, true.
And we're going to get one of our mates, well, hopefully if he does it for us, which would be nice, a couple stubby holders with our logo on it, with the Gold Jacket, Green Jacket on it.
So we could have some coffee mugs.
And you actually pointed out earlier that we actually don't have nothing to do with our logo
here
out here at the back at all.
It's the one thing we missed. And I can't believe it took me 5 weeks to figure it out.
I didn't even figure it out. You pointed out today where you're just like, hey, we don't have our logo anywhere. I'm like...
No, we don't.
Shit, yeah, true.
But yeah, as I said, we're really fortunate. We're really excited to get a bit of a partnership going with those boys. And who knows, maybe in the future, a discount code of sorts for our listeners.
That would be good. That's a good idea. I haven't even met the guys yet.
Sorry?
I haven't even met the guys yet.
We'll have to organise that too. I want to get one of them here. And
we'll get the brains behind it all.
Just to answer some sort of feedback, but a bit of just sort of answer some people that have been reaching out to me. Just a little bit off topic here. Yes, we are going to get some guests on soon. We've got a few people lined up. We had to buy extra equipment, so that's coming. So just be patient. We've also had some ideas for some episode that we can do. If you've got them, please reach out. Let us know. What do you want to hear? Because we don't necessarily want to be talking about the tour every second week. We've sort of made that perfectly
We probably
clear.
won't be. We might touch on the stuff a little bit. Like the good thing is like Cam Smith making a playoff in Hong Kong. Like how good's that? Abe Answer was fortunate enough to win. Good on him. But some Aussie tour golf like that.
We will talk about pro golf a lot throughout the journey. You've got Q School coming up. We've got the majors coming up. I've sort of said to Joel, I don't care what he says. We're doing some massive coverage of the majors coming up. But let us know what you guys want to hear as well. It's just as much about you guys as it is about us. So we want to give you guys what you want to hear.
Yes. Yes.
Now, let's move swiftly on. We sort of gave a bit of a teaser as to what we were going to talk about today last week.
Yeah, we thought up of a topic. What was it?
In the
it was only 2 days ago, wasn't it?
A few days ago, we recorded our last episode the Wednesday before it went out.
Yeah.
And it was just around there where I sort of threw the idea out about I wanted to have a chat about some public golf courses. Because there's been a bit of news recently about certain golf courses in particular almost being forced to close down. Two that spring to mind in recent memory are Oakleigh, which was as little as a month ago.
Yeah.
Oakleigh Golf Course out in the eastern suburbs of Melbourne, and Northcote Park Golf Course. Little 9-hole track out in the northern suburbs, which throughout COVID had a lot of backlash because when we weren't playing golf throughout COVID, that golf course turned into a park.
I was going to say that was a dog park, wasn't it?
Yeah, and people were walking their dogs, they were having picnics, they were kicking the footy, the community, that half of the community turned around and said, well, we kind of prefer it this way. Let's leave it. And
so just like take the flags out.
Take the flags out, shut the golf shop, let
it grow.
Let it grow. It'll still get controlled by the council, whatever it might be, and it would no longer be a golf course. But they are two that really came to mind. I mean, we'll go on to Oakleigh a little bit. They were weeks away from being told to close down, and then it wasn't
Why
until
though? Was it financial?
It was almost an afterthought in the council's mind. It was the Oakleigh Golf Course. They just didn't. No funding. Sandy Jameson is the pro out there, and he pushed a lot for the golf course to receive more funding from the local council, from the Monash City Council. And I actually heard an interview he did with Andy Marr and Andrew Gaze on SEN.
Yeah.
And he just said that it was really close to actually them having to turn around and go, well, we're not getting anywhere here. How long can this possibly last? And it wasn't until one of the local councillors or, members of parliament in the area actually went and looked at the golf course and saw the condition it was in, but then saw the potential that of all these introductory women's programs, junior programs, clinics that Sandy Jameson himself was running, saw the potential that had, and then the facility condition, and said, no, this has got to change.
Yeah, like saw the skeleton of the place, saw the potential of it.
Yeah.
And just pump some money into it.
And now it's gone before council, and they've had a win for them to turn around and go, well, yes, we are going to invest a fair chunk of money. I don't want to say numbers because I don't know specifics, but I know it's a lot.
Yeah, good.
Over the next 10 years or so. And it's going to just boost that spot because Oakleigh being in our eastern suburbs, it's a hot spot for...
Well, that's hugely important though, particularly with a public course like that. Where was it, Oakleigh, did you say? Yeah. So that's a huge area in terms of like in the Oakleigh area, North Oakleigh and stuff like that. Yeah, the population is very dense. And plus the other golf courses around there are...
royal.
Yeah.
They're sandbelts. They're
thousands
private.
and thousands and thousands of dollars to just get into the joint, and people around that area, not a lot. Well, obviously, though, the population of those sandbelt clubs are so important and are huge. The popularity to them are huge. But if the average Joe Blow, he doesn't want to go. He's not going to go play Royal Melbourne or Victoria or Commonwealth. He wants to go play Oakleigh once a fortnight or something.
Correct.
Like that.
And that's why when I heard this, because it was actually this interview that I heard on the radio that sort of sparked my thought process for this, because it got me thinking that you're right. Public golf courses, particularly in Melbourne and Australia, hold such a special place to local golfers because we're both fortunate. We're members at private, semi-private clubs that ask for quite a bit of money and quite a lot of commitment in that sense for their membership base.
Well, actually, I wouldn't say it asks for commitment. You expect commitment from yourself for the money that you pay.
Correct.
So that's what that...
But the commitment's there both financially and then whatever you want to do with your own game, that's up to you. But like you have to pay.
Here's the stepping stone. You're paying top dollar to play at these golf clubs, and to make it worth it, you have to play there. So if you're, for example, if you're going, I can only get out once a fortnight, you're not going to go join Q or you're not going to go join Heidelberg or Rosanna because you can't afford it. It's going to cost you $150, $200 a round.
Yeah, correct.
Well,
because
essentially,
it's funny you mentioned that
the subs
because that's literally how I break down my membership to determine whether or not it's still worth it for me.
Well, exactly, but if you don't do that,
prices go up every year, if you don't, it's guaranteed.
Yeah.
But then when I get my bill at the end of the year, or in the middle of the end of the financial year, I get my bill for my next year of membership, and I go, right, well, if it's going to cost me X amount, how much is that split up over 52 weeks? Because I know I'm going to play every Saturday. That's me. I'm going to play every Saturday. So what is that big figure there split up by 52? And then what's it split up by 60? Because if I get out a couple of times, or what's it split up by 100?
During daylight savings.
During daylight savings, I might get out 100 times a year.
Yeah.
Right? Whether I'm playing after work, 9 holes with the boys,
for 6 months,
if
you
I
play
play
2
on my
times during the week.
RDOs,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Things like that. So for me, that's how I break up whether or not my membership price is still worth it for me. But public golf courses don't require that at all. Sometimes you're paying as little as, I think there was a golf course around our area, Strathallan.
Yeah. That
Another
was
golf course. That was, until recently, that was very cheap. I think it was like $16 for 18 holes on a student card.
Well, see, that's the thing. If you have those guys that want to go play at these Heidelbergs and Rosannas and Yarra courses before you go sandbelts, right? You are paying a top dollar, particularly for someone that only goes, oh, I've got a free afternoon. I'm just going to go quickly whip and go play 9 holes. So they're going to pay that $22 for 9 holes, or that $35 for 18 holes, or something like that. And that's why those courses are so important. That's why Oakleigh and your Northcote and your Strathallan, that's why they are so important, because they can literally call up at 3 o'clock in the afternoon going, yo, I'm coming down in about half an hour. Can I get on? They go, yeah, 4:20, go for it, or 4:30 or something
whatever
like that.
it is.
Go for it. Whereas at a private golf course, there's a booking system. There's and before you even get into the place, there's sometimes waiting lists. There's joining fees that are thousands. Then of course you have either your monthly installments or your overall your subs at the end of the year that are thousands of dollars. And people a lot of the time go, I'm not going to pay that just to go play golf, because sometimes I don't even know. I might not play for 3 months, and then they go through a 3 weeks period where they play twice a week.
I think
those public tracks
so
provide
important.
exactly that.
They're so
for
important.
example, your Yarrambat as well.
Yeah.
Like I was a member there, same as my old man. We were members there for a long time. Probably my old man was there for about 15 years, I reckon. I was probably there for about 10, 11 before I went to Huntingdale. And it was unreal, because even though we were members, we did have priority and we did have that privilege of getting on whenever we want, because we were top priority, paying that dollar to stay in there. But it was also the fact that we would get there and there was not a single person that we've seen twice.
Yeah.
Because
it's a public track.
It was a public track. People coming out going, oh, I'll go play here, I'll go play here, I'll go play here. And they pay $35 and they go play a somewhat decent track.
Well, that's the thing.
Enjoy themselves.
I think Sandy Jameson said that Oakleigh charges, I think, less than $30 for a round of 18 holes, which in today's market for golf is
nothing.
Dirt cheap.
Nothing.
Right? You look at, I mean, Heidelberg Golf Club for the long time, I've considered it a semi-private golf club because we've allowed public to get on.
On certain days.
But even still, you're looking at $55, $65 a round.
Which probably you could argue could be more.
It's about standard. We played Heritage today.
Yeah, it was
$120.
That was weekend fees. Public holiday fees.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But we played it last time and it was still $100 for me to get on.
Yeah.
So yes, cool. You can argue that it's a top quality golf course. It's a great facility. It's great condition.
Yeah.
It's a bit exclusive, so you pay a bit more, and that's fine. I was happy to pay it, but that's not necessarily what everyone is looking for.
No.
And especially people who are getting into the sport. I've broken it down to some of my mates and gone, well, and they've asked me, what's it cost you to play golf every week? And I tell them, price of clubs, membership, balls, whatever it might be. And it comes up to this ridiculous number. But then I always caveat that by saying, well, you don't have to spend that money.
No.
people have come to me and said, "Oh, I'm looking to buy a driver to go and smack at the driving range because I'm sick of hiring one." Go to Cash Converters.
Yeah, exactly. The difference in mentality though is huge as well. So, for example, for yourself and myself, we're going out there essentially to compete against ourselves. Like we're entering the comp, going, "Yeah, I want to shoot the best score possible and win $50 on my account." Great, but we're trying to beat ourselves. We're trying to beat our handicaps. We're trying to beat that flag dropping off.
It's our number one sport. We want to enjoy it.
That's our priority. Whereas for people, this is a second or third priority. So they're like, okay, I've got a bit of time now and I love golf, so I'm going to go quickly smack some 9 holes. And when we tell people, join here, they're like, nah, I don't want to pay $150 a month or something like that to be a member here because I'm not going to use it. It's going to be $150 each time they play. If you think about it,
it's the typical gym membership that never gets used.
Exactly right. So they're the subs that they're paying, even if they join a public track for as a member, it's still they're not getting their money's worth. So having these public tracks open, for example, like you said, Northcote and Oakleigh and Strath and Yarrambat and various other courses that are open, Ivanhoe even, like even for a private golf club player or a member, your expectation of a club is pretty high.
Correct.
So the condition of it is pretty high. This is another thing. Your condition expectation is usually pretty Mickey Mouse because, that private golf club experience, you have pretty well laid out tee boxes. It's all pristine. It's all cut nicely. The greens run pretty good. Everything's usually.
But you get what you pay for.
Pretty good. Exactly. You get what you pay for. So if you're going to these public tracks and you're paying $30 for 18 holes, you can't expect the greens to be running at 11 on the stimp, nice and smooth. You can't expect that the fairways are going to be cut beautifully with lines in them. You can't expect that the bunkers are going to be raked and without footprints and kangaroo prints and stuff like that.
What you can expect is to go out and play a round of golf with your mates,
just enjoy it.
And just enjoy it.
Exactly.
That is honestly, and some of the best. Some of my core golf memories. Seriously, some of my core golf memories have been on Bundoora Golf Park.
Yeah.
Ivanhoe Golf Course.
Because
they're all public tracks in our area where I learnt how to play the game. And that's another massive thing of the absolute positivity that comes out of public tracks is that they're a great beacon for people to go in and learn the sport.
Yeah. But that's what sticks with you.
100%.
Like, for example, today, we were trying to enjoy the golf course. We're trying to enjoy the day. But to play at Heritage, it's
a challenge.
It's a challenging golf course. A little bit. I wouldn't call it generous off the blue tees, off the sort of the front members tees. Or the main members tees we'll go with. I wouldn't call it generous. You still got to hit the ball good, but it's not going to punish you like the golds or the blacks will.
No.
But in our minds, we're competing against ourselves. So it's not we're going out there for allegedly hit to talk shit with our mates and me and you talk shit. No, we're putting our heads down. So the importance of going out there and enjoying it with other people and enjoying it with 3 other mates, you got to go out there to that public track that you're not really worried about the golf. You're not really worried about what the course is like. You're not really worried about really what you shoot. You don't really care. You're going out to have a hit. And if you do have a little bet with your mates, which is always fun, because you always talk a bit of shit, like, you make 7 here, I make 6, I beat you, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So that's really the only places you can do it.
Yeah.
So I tell you what, in terms of speaking on that, some of the best memories I have of when I was a junior or real young, just before we were sort of going Huntingdale, sort of 11, 12, 13, sort of around that age. Me and my old man used to go out to Yarrambat every Tuesday afternoon after school. I'd get home at, 3:30 odd. This is probably when I was about 12, 13, 14 years old. This was about that range. I'd get home at about 3:30-ish. He would get around at the same time. We'd just chuck the clubs in the car and just bolt up to Yarrambat. We'd just get there as quick as we could. And it was me, my old man, and one other guy, Jason. And we'd tee off at about 4 o'clock and just whip around 9 holes as quick as we could, really. And it got to the point where one other guy joined us. Before you know it, another one. All these guys just kept swarming into this group that we had on this Tuesday. So before you know it, there's 2 groups of 3. Then there's 2 groups of 4. Then before you know it, there's 10 of us. So there's couple groups of 3 and a group of 4. And there's 10 of us. So what we used to do, it eventually got to the point where there's 10 or 12 of us standing on the first tee, waiting for 3 groups of 4 to tee off at 4 o'clock on a Tuesday afternoon. And a few of them were members. Some of the guys come and go. And what it was if there was 2 groups of 3. The two worst scores, Stableford scores. You played on your handicap, and the worst Stableford score would buy a jug.
Yeah.
And the top guys above that wouldn't.
That's it.
Blah blah blah. And if there was 3 groups of 4, there'll be 3 of the worst buys a jug. And everyone then sat around and had a beer and had a laugh and talked a bit of shit and watched people come up the 18th hole, give them a clap, give them a boo, give them a blah blah blah, whatever. But if you asked around those guys the week later, they couldn't tell you what score they had. They wouldn't have a fucking clue. They couldn't tell you what the condition of the course was like. They just went out. They wanted to have a beer with their mates and go and enjoy it.
And if you asked a pro at a private golf course, hey, can I have 11 of my mates come out? We'll just go walk down one on a Tuesday afternoon. God, no.
No way. You members, mate? Oh, you bring guests, are you? They'll be $45. Like,
yeah, sweet.
You just can't do it. That's why these golf courses are so important.
So important. I've found a article here from Australian Golf Digest, and in it says that Oakleigh Golf Course was described by one counsellor as a beacon for connection. It says Oakleigh hosts more than 30,000 rounds of golf each year.
Whoa.
Many of those played as casual rounds, and is home to a golf club, a veterans golf club, and an acclaimed program for golfers with disability.
There you go.
They're a couple of things you won't find at your private golf courses.
Nah.
You won't
Jesus.
find avenues for golfers who might have a disability to come in and play. You might get more rounds per year at a private golf course. I know for a fact that you did get more than 30,000 at Heidelberg.
Absolutely.
But 30,000 rounds is so much golf.
Yeah, heaps.
So much golf when you think about it in a 12-month period. It's so long. It says here in the article that the decision was to retain the Oakleigh Golf Course as a 9-hole public golf course for the foreseeable future and not consider any alternative options for the site until the new management contract term and option extension is anticipated to end in 2034. So basically what they were saying was they're not going to touch it until 2034. There's new management coming in, I'd say in council.
Yeah.
And then it'll be reviewed again. But the second alternative, it says here, was to close the course altogether and turn the site into a public park. And that's the thing. These places are so important. And I think for us, after COVID, golf sort of had a massive boom in this country.
Yeah.
But then also a kind of pretty rapid decline in the last sort of 12 to 18 months.
It's sort of
in our area especially, right? One of our favorite spots to go before we started like anything in terms of the podcast or whatever was Latrobe Golf Park driving range.
Yeah, we went there all the time.
We used to go there all the time. It's a driving range on Plenty Road in
to the point where it was once a week for a while.
Exactly.
For a long time.
And that place closed down. And granted, they shared land with Latrobe University, and Latrobe basically turned around and said, we want the land back. So now it's a simulator centre.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've been back there since it's turned into a sim.
Oh,
because if I want to use a sim, I've got the facilities available to me elsewhere. I wouldn't drive.
Since then, when do you reckon that was? 18 months ago?
If not 2 years ago.
I reckon I've gone there 3-4 times.
Yeah, we might have gone once together, but I don't think it's been at least 12 months.
That's a good setup, but it's not the same.
No, it's not the same as a driving range, but that's the thing. In our area, we've lost, I think, 2 driving ranges. We lost
Bulleen as well.
Bulleen gone because of the freeway works.
That wasn't your top of the range driving range, but it was somewhere to go where you can pay your $12 to get 60 balls and go smack them.
That's exactly right.
And it's for someone that goes, oh, I've got a spare.
And what happens when you take away these facilities for people to go and enjoy the game?
Yeah,
is the ones that do stick around, get crowded. We go to Plenty Views driving range during the winter.
Sometimes you can't get.
You wait there 45 minutes to get a bay.
Sometimes you can't get bays. Yeah.
Well, there were times last season. I remember during winter we were having to get there at like 5:30 in the afternoon, straight after work, before the dinner rush, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
Would get to the range so that we could just get a spot.
Actually, get a spot. Yeah.
And
it was hard enough to get a spot, let alone 2 bays next to each other. You know what I mean? Or we'd just wait. Simple as that. But there's stepping stones. There's simple stepping stones. It's those very important driving ranges. For example, your Bulleen and your Latrobe Park, and that even costs a little bit just to get a simulator spot. And some people don't even know what they're doing on a simulator.
It's $40 an hour. It's a lot of money.
It's not worth it. Now, the only real place you can go if you don't go to a golf club is
your public tracks.
Is Plenty Views.
Yeah, Plenty Views. Or your public tracks.
Yarrambat's probably the only one that I know has a driving range.
Yeah, there you go.
Look, where else?
But even still, that driving range is not open the same sort of hours that
No, of course.
that Plenty Views
Of course,
is.
it's not
But
open
within
till
sort
dark
of
or-
no joke, within sort of I'd say easily 25 kilometers of my house, I've got one driving range.
Yeah. And that's not good promotion, is it?
Unless I'm going to my own golf club, which is a 25-minute drive away,
Yeah.
and I got to wait for the course has got to be open. Someone's got to be in the pro shop. All that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily what everyone's after.
Yeah.
But to continue to take away public access golf is a ridiculous thought.
I feel like there's two pathways people can take, especially when taking up golf. Your starter is you get that little bug where you're going, oh, hitting that perfect shot feels awesome.
100%.
Or playing with mates is a lot of fun. Blah, blah, blah. So you start off at that driving range, for example, you're Plenty Views in your Bulleen and your Latrobe Golf Park, and people are like, okay, this is really fun. Let's take this out onto a golf course. So you start at your driving range, blah, blah, blah. A year goes by, something like that. You and your mates go, let's go play Ivanhoe, or let's go play Freeway, or let's go play Yarrambat or Northcote or Oakleigh or something like that. So you get there, you play that one round, and everyone's like, actually, that was a lot of fun. So you keep going to the range more, right? You go out to the play golf more. And you obviously have those guys that really pursue it a little bit, and you have those guys that go, it's not for me, sort of thing.
It's literally the story I told in my episode of our handicap journeys, because I was that person. I played a little bit with my dad. I went to the range and got dialed in, caught the bug then and there, played a few public tracks with my mates, and then decided, bugger this, I'm taking this a little bit too seriously to be paying $60 a round.
Yeah.
I might as well just go and get a membership and pay the same price.
Yeah, because you had that little bit of passion for it. See, that's why some people don't. So one thing is work commitment, for one. A lot of people just don't really have the time, and some people just flat out just don't have the passion for it. It's just not for them.
Yep.
So they go do something else. So that's one pathway where they go range balls with mates and, a couple hit outs occasionally on, a few times a year or something like that.
And that's
keep
their
going
golf.
the range. And that's sort of just them. And so they don't mind paying, $30-$35 for an 18 holes a few times, once a month or something like that. That's nothing really. That's cheaper than any golf membership in Australia. And then you have the other person where it goes, actually, this is quite addicting. This is you.
Yeah.
This other pathway is you.
Yeah.
You start out on that range going, starting to hit the ball a bit better. You go and play on the golf course. You're better than your mates. You find yourself a bit better than your mates. Few of them drop off. They don't have the passion for it. You're egging them on to get out there. So you're getting onto these public golf courses going, come on, guys, let's
The
play.
amount of egging on for some of my mates.
Let's play. Let's play some golf. And they're like, fuck off. I don't care. I'm just whack and like slice into the piss, and they don't give a shit. And you're like, no, I want to score out here. I want to play some golf.
Yeah.
And then that's where you've made the jump going, well, those guys aren't committed enough. I am. You can keep going.
I need to
You're
go
still in
I
those
need to go
range sessions.
find-
So you go find that golf course, and then here you are. You're playing off mid singles. You're playing some pretty fucking good golf.
Yeah.
You're a good ball striker, and you're playing at a private golf club.
But that's the thing. Like that's one
That's
journey.
that 3-step transition.
That's one journey. There are so many journeys that people can take through this game, and it's about having the opportunity to figure it out for themselves. And the more you take it away, like I'm a firm believer in the sport, in the saying that golf is a sport for everyone.
Well, absolutely. You see
a
a lot of
sport.
those retirees that get to 60 years old and they've never touched a golf club before. All of a sudden, they get a golf set for their birthday one year. Or
Happy
something
retirement. Here's a set of clubs.
Perfect example of that is my dad's stepdad. So he's my grandfather on my dad's side.
Yep.
And he didn't even really consider golf. He didn't dislike it or anything like that. He just wasn't involved in it at all. And he got a set of golf clubs for his 60th, right? And for the next 4 years, you couldn't get him off the place.
Yeah.
Couldn't get him away from a golf club, from a golf course. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like my grandma said to him one point, you got to relax. He was playing 5 times a week, going ranges, lessons, fucking golf courses, going everywhere. He was going
Just
crazy.
dove in head first.
The bug he caught was
Yep.
crazy. So every time we went up there, we'd go up there for a 2-week trip. We'd play 10 times
Yeah, right.
for 2 weeks. It was
There you go.
outrageous. And it was supposed to be a family holiday. He's like, he'd
Golf, let's
honestly,
go.
It would be 6:30 a.m. He would tap me on the forehead, tap me and my old man on the forehead. He'd have breakfast ready, and he's in his golf gear going, come on. We're like, what? We went to bed at 2 a.m. because we've been drinking, right? And he's tapping us on the forehead going, come on. We're
Let's
like,
go.
What? He goes, we got a tea time at 9 o'clock. Where? He goes, I don't know. what's this place called? And it's it's like a 48-minute drive or something like that. So we quickly smack in breakfast in the car by 7:30, and we're going to go play golf because he's just he had
Loves
this
it.
he had this all of a sudden just this massive passion after he's free off from work. He's got all this time in the world, and the funniest story, I'll tell you this real quick. The funniest story ever. He got a lesson at his local course. I think it was Gold Coast Country Club.
Okay.
Right? Nice little golf course. I went and played there once. It was nice and it was awesome. It was awesome,
cool.
right? It was good fun. It wasn't your Royal Pines or anything, but it was still awesome golf course to go play. And he was having a lesson with the pro there, and he was hitting right-handed. Oh, sorry, he was hitting left-handed because he batted left-handed, he threw left-handed, he did other things right-handed. He was ambidextrous sort of thing. He kicked the footy right-footed. Anyway. And he was swinging left-handed, and he couldn't really get anything going. So the pro said, stand still for me. Threw a ball at him. Right, caught it with his right hand. Take a step back with his right foot. The pro comes up to him, pushes him. He saves himself with his right foot. He goes, "You're right-handed." He goes, "You've been hitting left-handed this whole time. You're right-handed." Right? And he goes, "Righto, no worries." Turns around, goes to the pro shop, buys a right-handed set of clubs, comes back out, goes, "Right, where were we?" Dude, he said it exactly like that, and he keeps going with the lesson. 20 minutes in, he goes, buys a new set of golf clubs, right-handed, and goes, "Right, where were we?" And he stripes his 5-iron. Dude, it was unreal. It was unbelievable. God. So from then on, there's like 6 sets of golf clubs sitting in the garage because he's just trial and error, all these different shit. Like he had 15, he had 15 putters at one stage. Like he just caught this bug that it's a one in a lifetime feeling for people just to catch on to something that is so addictive and then just to run with it and then just go crazy.
And if you take away public golf courses, you take away that ability for those people to find that
for that
passion.
person to expand. Exactly.
Right?
That's how important those places are.
And that's probably the perfect way to sum it up is if you talk to us, yes, we're privileged in the way that the game presents itself to us.
Yes.
And the way we present ourselves to the game.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a special place in this country, especially for people and golf courses that don't cost as much, aren't in the best condition,
but they don't need to
offer
be.
great value.
They don't need to be.
Great avenues of
don't forget,
connection and mateship, and for all people, age, gender, socioeconomic status, disabilities, whatever it might be. And those places, generally 99% of the time,
is where it all gets started.
Public golf courses
is where it all gets started.
Without
them, you're making too big of a jump to go to your private golf courses or your less affordable places, and it's just not the right way to start.
And this is the third time that I know a golf course in my life that it could have potentially no longer existed.
Yeah,
I know golf courses that don't exist anymore.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
but this is the third iteration of this in my lifetime where a golf course could have been taken away from the public and it's been saved, and it's a great thing. And I honestly wish you go out and play at Oakleigh one day just to go and see what it's like, and maybe in a year's time once they get a bit of funding behind them, and just see what they can do with the place, because I reckon they've got the right people there running it.
Good.
And I think it's a good thing. It's a great thing for golf
sort of
in this
places
country.
just need people that have a bit of heart
and who love
just
it.
have a bit of heart.
And by from all accounts, Sandy Jameson, who's running it out there.
Put the money aside. The financials, look, they do mean a lot, especially for those sort of places. But put the money inside and just put a bit of heart into it, and it'll grow.
And that's the core of,
I
think, every organization. A good organization is not determined by success or anything. It's by the people who run it at the core and who contribute the most and who will die for it.
Yeah.
And that's what I reckon this has got going on.
Yeah, awesome.
Well, that's a great little topic, I reckon.
I like that,
and very passionate, the two of us in that instance.
Well, because it
means a lot.
It's where we grew from.
It's nostalgic.
It's where the seed was planted.
100%.
Essentially, like Yarrambat. For me, credit to Yarrambat. I wouldn't be where I am without that place, because that was my nesting ground. That's where that's where I grew.
Yeah,
and then you just evolve from then on.
Yeah. Now, from a serious topic, I knew it was going to be a very serious topic when I first brought it up to you. So I also thought of a very light-hearted topic that we could have a chat about and a bit of a debate about to sort of see us off for the episode. We're going to get to questions from the second cut towards the end. I'd had one in my mind. I think I might have forgotten it, but I reckon I'll think of one.
This guy.
But I thought of the idea, like, let's put together our best all-time golfer. Let's split up a golfer into 5 categories. So we'll go driver and woods, we'll go irons, we'll go short game, putting, and mentality.
Okay, so you have your
5 key attributes you would say key attributes to a golfer.
Okay, so
and you can pick any golfer, any professional
long game.
golfer.
So that's your 5 wood up.
Yep.
Or off the tee, essentially.
Team clubs.
Long game is your 4 under pitch and wedge, or 4 under 9-iron.
That's irons.
Irons, yeah.
Yep.
4 under 9-iron, which is irons.
Short game is wedges around the green, 100 in.
Sure.
Right.
And then putting, and then up here.
Up here.
Okay.
And you can pick any professional golfer to represent each of those categories, but you can only use them once.
All right. Cool.
Okay, let's start at the top.
I've got mine.
I've got mine.
All right. You start us off with driver and woods.
Driver and woods, I've gone Rory McIlroy.
Okay.
I think he's just the most consistent off the tee. He's always been a leader in those stats. And I think to the naked eye, I think he's got probably the most beautiful swing on the tour.
It's pretty spot. He's special.
He's
off the tee, special, producing mid 180 ball speed, hitting it.
Considering he's
solid.
That tall and hits it, and hits it that far.
Dude, he's special.
He's special. And I think he's a great golfer.
Yeah.
And I don't hold him in as high a stead as other people. But that area of his game, I think he's the best.
He's the best. Okay.
Give me yours.
I'm going to throw a curveball in there.
Here we go.
Have you heard of anyone called Calvin Peete?
No.
He's from the 1980s.
Okay.
He's got the leading driving accuracy on tour. He's the most successful African-American golfer on tour, second to Tiger Woods.
Wow.
He had an 86.3% fairways hit
Through
his career.
Whoa.
Throughout his entire career, he hit 1 golf ball OB.
You hit one golf ball
out of bounds.
One
out of play.
In
He
his
hit
whole
1 golf
career.
ball off the tee that went out.
How long did he play for?
I couldn't tell you. It was over 10 years. He led the tour in driving accuracy.
That's
But
unreal.
I don't know about distance.
Forget it. That's a stat.
My driving and woods in terms of accuracy. If you're to build your perfect golfer, do you get to keep attribute of yourself?
No, I didn't really
so it's just
consider
purely them.
I didn't consider it because I don't think I could compete.
In other words, in terms of accuracy, I'll choose Calvin Peete from the 1980s.
Yeah.
But then again, you have it's hard to go past Rory.
Yeah, very hard.
So to not go the same as you, I'm going to go Calvin Peete.
Very good. All right, irons, you lead the way.
Scotty Scheffler.
Okay.
It's just every time I watch that man strike an iron, whether it's a 4-iron or a 9-iron, it is just so pure.
It's something special to watch.
It is just so pure.
He
It
looks
is the
so
tightest little fade, or he gets it moving the other way. It was either that or Colin Morikawa.
Okay.
Or Tommy Fleetwood. Tommy Fleetwood strikes it unbelievably.
You're going to be baffled by who I say.
Scotty Scheffler is my pick because I just feel like every time I watch him, no matter how good or how bad he's playing, it's more often good than
correct.
fucking bad.
Recently.
Being world number 1, Jesus Christ. But I just feel like every time he hits that iron, I'm just like, whoa.
Yeah.
He always knows what he's doing and it's going in the right direction, the right distance. So, Scotty.
I've gone for someone a little bit different. I've got a little bit of live involvement in my selections, and I've gone for Louis Oosthuizen.
So good. That's a great choice.
Someone who is just tempo personified, ball striking personified.
Yeah.
Landed on a 50-cent piece from 180 away.
Yeah.
Time and time again. Major champion.
Yeah.
Just someone who I looked at a lot when I was coming up and like getting into my golf properly. Someone who I sort of idolized a little bit as just a dead on ball striker.
I love it. What do you reckon? He's Freddie Couples, Ernie Els.
See, here's the thing.
Do you reckon?
It's funny you mentioned because they were the 2 names that came to mind first.
Yeah, okay.
When you said irons and when we said we were going to do irons, I thought of Freddie and Ernie because you look at those 2 swing golf clubs and it feels like they're barely even trying. And
watching Ernie Els hit a golf ball disgusts me because I'm like, how does the swing look so good, so easy, and you hit the ball that good and so far?
Yeah.
Like
you said, Louis is the 2 of them in a perfect relationship.
Louis has a great golf swing.
Short game. Do you want me to go first?
Sure. Yeah.
All right, we'll alternate. I like this. I've got 2. And I can't really pick between them.
No, you gotta. Name them and then talk us through it for a couple minutes. And then
So one I've seen a lot more of than the other. I wasn't fortunate enough to see one of them.
I think I know who you're going to pick too.
Seve Ballesteros.
That's mine.
And the other one was Phil Mickelson.
Mm-hmm.
I like Phil's ability just to create something out of nothing.
Mm-hmm.
and Sevi had that trait as well. Mm-hmm. I haven't been blessed enough. I wasn't in that time period to be able to watch Sevi live or on TV when he was around before he passed away. But the clips I've seen of some of the just pure magic he can produce to put the ball that far away or even hole out is just something else. So I can't really pick him. Phil's a bit more modern era.
Yeah, you've seen a bit more of
Open
him.
the blade of a 60 and,
and just swing
hit him
hard.
backwards for all I care. You know what I mean? But yeah, I can't really pick between the two because I love Sevi and what he brought to the game and the short game especially. And Phil's just sort of dialed it in for the last 20 years.
Yeah. I actually had the exact same.
Did you actually?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I had the exact same. So I've got Sevi written down as a primary one. And then I had Phil and then like 2015 Spieth and then and then Cam Smith as well.
Yeah.
So I had like a 4 in a row. So yeah, I had Sevi and Phil at the top there.
Did you see, speaking of Cam Smith, did you see the video they put on Ripper GC's Instagram page where they were hitting it off that downslope into another mound and then it was trickling on?
No.
I'll show you it later. It's mastery from all 4 of the boys in that team just to put that just the creativity.
It was so hard for me to not put Cam Smith 3 times in here.
Cool.
It was so hard not to.
There you go.
Because especially with that recent Hong Kong performance, like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, anyway. So, yeah.
Putting?
I can't really even progress in explaining that short game between Sevi and Phil. Like, what you said was pretty much perfect.
Yeah.
Like, Sevi because purely the legacy and, you know, the stories and exactly what you got told. And then
Phil just sort of grabbed the torch and ran with
that modern era, you know. Putting, I put Cam.
You put Cam Smith?
Yeah,
I went Tiger.
I put Cam, yeah.
I said it last week.
The reason why I didn't put Tiger into putting, anyway,
is because you probably went for him for mentality.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, I went Tiger for putting because last week we mentioned it. And if I could replace one part of my game, it would be for Tiger's putting. Mm-hmm. And I think the clutch putts that he's held in his career and will continue to do because he's not done yet. But just you can look up putting compilations.
This is my contrary of the next bracket of the reason why.
Yeah.
Anyway, keep going.
And the putting compilations that you can find on YouTube of Tiger Woods sinking them from all angles
to keep a US Open alive or something like that or whatever.
Go and watch the Tiger
PGA Championship.
Go and watch Tiger versus Rocco.
That's sick.
And just
2008?
2008 US Open with a broken leg, and literally go and see some of the putts he hold to win that US Open. Now, mentality.
I chose Tiger.
Right.
Just it's a lot of the top dogs in other sports around the world. For example, you have your Kobe and your Michael of basketball, and they talk about it as well, and he talks about them in the same way. It's just the sheer drive and just the flat out, they absolutely refuse to fail. Mm-hmm. It's just in their own aura and their own what's the word? I'm trying to think of words here of how to describe it. Like it's just the passion towards the game. It's just
the sheer will to win,
exactly.
The sheer do or die.
It's Kobe describes it really well. It's
Mamba mentality.
Exactly. They're going into those tournaments just to win. Their mentality is to win, no matter what anything throws at them. They don't care. That's their only thing on their mind, and every shot is make or break. Yeah. So he's going to execute that with absolutely everything he's got.
Yeah.
And that's exactly how his dad was. Dad trained him essentially.
Yeah.
When he was a younger kid, dropping clubs in his backswing, talking shit. Talking him down, fucking trying to annoy him as much as possible. And then I got to one stage where Earl literally said to Tiger, he goes, "You're ready, mate." He goes, "There is not a single person on this planet that is going to get in your head."
Yeah.
And Tiger explains it really well in a clinic as well, going, "I'm going to do this the best I can and as hard as I can with as much force and as fierce as I can in every tournament, in every shot I can play. And if you're intimidated by that, that's your own fucking issue." The way he says that gave me chills. I
100%.
loved it because I'm like, he's going to go out there and he's going to bully you.
Yeah.
And if you can't handle it, get off that stage. That's why he's in that spotlight. That's why he's on that stage. It's because up here, he's got that intensity, that drive, that will to live, the will to win, that sheer passion and the do or die and just the refusal of failure.
Correct.
Hence why everything was so clutch. That 2008 putt, that 2005 chip in at Augusta, so many various other putts that were essentially a must make. It's just he had in his head, Nicholas said it as well, he had it in his head that he's refusing with every cell of his being. He's not walking off this green until that ball goes in that hole.
Yeah.
And it just won't let it happen. And he executes. So that mentality I would just trying to channel it is so difficult.
And he probably would have been my selection as well had I not.
But you chose putting.
I chose because honestly, when I thought of it, like, yeah, Jordan Spieth was a good putter when he was in his heyday, but I'm sort of looking at it.
Everyone's a good putter when they're
correct, but as careers as wholes,
who is your mentality?
You'll be very surprised because mine comes with a caveat of is on his day, like in the week.
That's not the rules of the game.
I know, but this is what. But you'll just hear me out, right?
Okay.
And I might be able to persuade you, right?
Okay.
I went for Brooks Koepka. Because I think that above all else, he wants to win majors.
So
right?
he's looking at that top crown.
He wants nothing but the top.
Best.
He wants nothing but the best out of himself, out of what he's doing. He prepares himself for those 4 weeks of the year. It's do or fucking die.
So stuff the Rocket Mortgage Classic.
Who cares about what's going on? That's why he went to live, because he can just keep his game pretty mellow for 14 weeks a year. But then when April comes, he's on.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
right?
Okay.
And that's why I said on his day, in his week, right?
Because he's always there with the majors, isn't he?
Always there. And he won his fifth.
Okay.
He's won his fifth last year at the PGA. And having seen some clips of him, he literally has turned around and said, I had two motivations. I want to win as many majors as I can, and I want to have more than Rory.
No, interesting.
Right?
Cheeky prick.
Right? He wants to have more than Rory, and he's got it now, right?
Yeah.
But that sort of fuck you attitude, like who says I can't, is why I went for him, because it's a bit different to being, like you've just explained so well with Tiger, and just I stop at nothing, whatever. Brooks will do the same.
Yeah.
4 weeks of the year.
Yeah.
And then he'll just go and enjoy his golf the rest of the time.
The difference is with Tiger.
That ability for
whether it was the John Deere Classic or the Masters.
He wanted to win everything.
It was dialed in.
And 100%. And like I said, I would have gone for Tiger as well.
But you chose putting.
But I chose to put him in the putting.
That's understandable.
But I like Brooks because I'll say this. Brooks Koepka is my favorite player.
Yeah.
I love everything he does. I don't think he, aside from maybe one or two things, he can't really do much wrong.
No.
But
what do you do?
Yeah.
No one's perfect.
No, exactly right. So I think that on his day when he's got that killer instinct in him and he's dead on motivated to go, I think there's no stopping him.
Yeah, I have nothing against Brooks either. I think he says what is on his mind. He's motivated. He motivated for those big wins. He wants those majors. He wants those big top crowns.
That's it. And
he wants what's best for himself. He doesn't give a fuck what anyone else says.
No.
Does not give a shit. He'll tell his opinion, and if people don't like it, he goes, that's your problem. That's your problem. Move along. Next question.
It's a you problem.
Cool. I got my question.
Go for it.
From the second cut. Would you rather?
Here we go.
So for every round you were to play from now on.
Oh, God.
From now on. Would you rather have to hit every tee shot left-handed? No, shut up. Every tee shot left-handed or every chip shot / bunker shot left-handed?
Tee shot.
Interesting.
There's more room for error.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Is it? No. There's more room that I can make mistakes in. Off the tee, you look down at a fairway and you go, right, I can miss it 50 right or 50 left.
Yeah.
Whatever it might be.
Yeah.
If you try and get up and down out of a bunker left-handed, good luck. Is it me as a me being a right-hander and my ability left-handed
your
now?
Your ability.
Or like I don't have 6 months to train.
No, fuck you. From now on, if you were to go play
off the tee, I reckon I could break 90 teeing off left-handed.
Oh.
I reckon I could break 90.
How many do you reckon you could hit down the middle? Like hit good?
Two,
really?
Two. I reckon.
So you're going to cater for your shanks, your tops, your misses.
But you got to remember, if I have one or two of those, right, as long as they move, I just got to tee off.
Oh, of course.
I've just got to tee off. So if I top one 30 meters in front of the tee box, I just rip out 3 wood and hit it right-handed for the rest of the hole.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But as long as I progress that thing forward,
Yeah.
I'm giving myself a chance.
But don't forget, if you have a good day where you're hitting fairways, greens, and you miss 3 greens, you don't have to chip 3 times. Not tee off 18 times.
I'd still rather take the gamble because I reckon I'm more likely to hit a fairway. Sorry, I'm more likely to have 3 out of a bunker left-handed than I am to miss a fairway. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
It's probably not the right way of going about it, but I'd much rather tee off left-handed.
You'd be more confident with that. Okay. There you go.
Big swing, big ding.
Big swing, big ding, big slice.
Go on. What's your answer?
Big top-oler. I'd probably with my standard now, I'd rather chip left-handed for sure.
Oh wow!
Because
okay.
I back myself to hit more greens. Than
Again,
I miss.
another differing. Yeah, that's cool.
I'd rather chip left-handed because generally my ideology on the course is if I'm going to miss, it's going to miss small. So if I do miss the green, it's in the spot that I want to miss, and it shouldn't be a hard up and down anyway. So even if I do hit a little thin or a little flub, bogey at worst.
Yeah, cool.
You know
okay, I see it.
So that's my mentality. Otherwise, because if I'm teeing off and I top at 30 meters on a 400,
what if I changed it to putting left-handed?
I'm a great putter left-handed.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
My alignment's shit. Like I have to line everything up perfectly, and I'll take 10 minutes to hit the putt. But I feel like my actual stroke, and getting it started on line's all right.
Yeah, right. Okay.
I'll take a second to get going.
Right.
But I reckon that's much easier to sort of figure out and get straighter than anything else in my game, I feel.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So
you don't have your question?
I do. I've literally just thought of it as we were talking.
Yeah, go for it.
2023 Ryder Cup at Marco Simone in Rome.
Yeah.
You have to insert yourself into one of the teams.
Uh-huh.
Are you picking Europe or the US?
Europe.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is it that easy of a question?
Just because of how dominant they were, I liked that team vibe.
Okay, let's forget that it was last year's and they were dominant.
Uh-huh.
If you had to play for one of the continents, they go, Joel, we're allowing special exemptions for internationals to play for one of the teams, but you have to pick, and that's the one you have forever.
Yeah.
Who would you go?
I'd probably still pick Europe just because of the variety.
Okay.
I feel like the American team, as good as they are, all those players, unbelievable players, best on the planet, of course. Like they had the top ranked players on the planet with the American side, and they had obviously those with the European side. It was just the best players competing against each other on the planet.
I've got a second question.
Oh, okay. Yeah, hang on.
Yeah, cool.
Hang on, give me 1 minute.
Go.
And I'll just pick the European just because there was so much different shit going on. There was not the same player.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I feel like the US team, they all had a very similar idea of how they play.
Seems very militant. Very
sort of.
Yeah,
they
US
all
team.
they all sort of hit it very similar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they all sort of
Scotty Scheffler literally offered the most variety.
yeah, because he's
US.
unique. He's a wall.
Yeah.
But on the European side, I feel like there was just a bit of
bits and pieces
something.
from
I feel like
everywhere.
it was just going to be a bit more enjoyable.
Yeah.
As good as the US side would be, I'd pick Europe.
I'd pick Europe as well.
Yeah.
But for a completely different reason. The crowd. That support.
Wow.
That support. Just the first team vibes for a home Ryder Cup.
Okay, go. For example, put them into TPC Sawgrass.
Yeah, still Europe.
Still Europe because of the
there'd still be
vibes, or do you reckon the US would have more of a backing?
Yeah, 100% the US are going to have more of a backing in the States. But again, for the reasons you said as well, that I just have more of an affiliation to Europe. As Australians in sport, we kind of have this fuck the US mentality, right? A little bit.
Yeah.
I hate seeing them succeed.
I don't mind it.
The Olympics, I grew up watching Michael Phelps dominate in the pool against Thorpe and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just, fuck off. And that's why I'd rather play for Europe. That's why I always, right?
That's
Now-
not the mentality I had at all. I
Fair
love the
enough.
US.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, fuck them. I don't care.
Spicy.
I just literally thought of a second question.
Yeah.
Is it feasible because we have two tournaments. We have the President's Cup. We have the Ryder Cup. It's US in both versus the Europeans in the Ryder and the internationals in the President's Cup. Is it feasible for the RNA, whoever you want to call it, to turn around and go, scrap the President's Cup. We'll just have the Ryder Cup, but we'll have it as the US versus an international team with Europe and the internationals. It's literally US versus the rest of the world. Would you think that that is something that could be
interesting
done in the future or ever? Not necessarily that they're going to turn around and go do it tomorrow, but like, would you think that'd be more interesting than just having the two separate tournaments? Because the President's Cup doesn't get nearly as much traction as the Ryder Cup does from a supporter base.
Yeah,
it's not, in my eyes, it's not as big as the Ryder Cup.
Well, it's a US versus international.
Correct. But would you, if they turned, and the Ryder Cup's changed in the formatting
that would mean
a lot
the same thing. If you said get rid of the President's Cup and then just had US versus the world, it's the same thing.
But yeah, I know, but there's the Europe, there's like the Europeans would be in it as well.
Yeah, but wouldn't you
you'd put a couple of internationals in with the Europeans. Does that make sense?
Right. So would you put your so the format would have to be, obviously you have US side. So it's, I don't even know
let's
what it is.
Let's say,
12,
for example,
12
let's
12,
say,
isn't it?
Yeah, it's
So
12
you'd have
players.
12 US, and then you would have 12
say-
internationals. So I'd four Europeans, and then I have 2 from select.
I wouldn't even
two
go
of the
that
best
far.
continents.
I wouldn't even go that far. I'd say it'd be your 12 US, your, let's say 8 Europeans, and then 4 wild card spots that you can just pick anybody else you like.
Nah, so I would do less than that. If you're going to do international, I'd put 4 Europeans, and then it would be 2 Aussies, then
2 Asians.
yeah, two
Africans.
from Asians, and then 2 from the African continent or something.
Yeah.
Right. So, like hypothetical, in the grand scheme of things of golf that's ever been played, you have your European side, and then if you were going to go, Australian, Asian, African, you could put that South African would be your Ernie Els, and then or something like that. Your Aussies will be, your Scotty and your Jason Day, or your Scotty and Cam Smith, or whatever it might be. And or your Norman or blah 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 versus that US side. And then you obviously have your Asians in there.
Yeah.
Where you would have, Sung J M or Tom Kim.
Yeah.
Imagine that lineup. Like,
yeah.
Would that be how it goes? Or?
Yeah, you could do that. I'm not sure about what format you'd go or what the ratios of players would be, but it would I think it'd be a pretty cool concept to have just one tournament where it's the US versus the rest of the world. However you want to draw up the rest of the world teams, sweet, but just incorporate. And that's why I said 8 Europeans, because you want to keep that Ryder Cup feel to it.
No, because if you're going to do something separate to the Ryder Cup, have no relation to it at all. I'd feel that's my opinion.
So you do that for the President's Cup as opposed to the Ryder Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Fair enough.
The Ryder Cup, you have your Ryder Cup, US, Europe. Like, I love watching the Ryder Cup.
Keep it as it is.
That's
Don't touch
unreal.
it.
Put that as a separate thing. If you're going to do along the lines of that President's Cup, you would have the US side, and then you would have your best 12 or however many players on the opposing side. And if you want to keep it having that European aspect in it, yeah, I would put 4 there.
Yeah,
I'd
cool.
put only a third or even a quarter, even your 3 top Europeans.
Yeah.
I'd put it. So
and then the rest internationals.
You have your John Rahm, you have your Tommy Fleetwood, and you have your Shane Lowry, or whatever it might be, And that's how I'd put it. And then you have 3, 3, and 3, or so fucking whatever.
Yeah, cool.
However you want to format it. That would be my
your little concoction of how you draw it up.
That's my little NutriBullet of how I'd put it.
Yeah, there you go.
Something like that.
Well, there you go.
What would you do? Would you do something similar?
Look, yeah, probably actually.
Yeah,
I wouldn't want to touch the Ryder Cup as it is. I
Ryder
thought
Cup's
that
amazing.
You just kind of convinced me not to sort of touch it, but
Yeah.
definitely. I think the President's Cup could do with something just to kick it along a little bit.
But how are you supposed to, like? I think in your eyes, the President Cup seems like, I wouldn't call it a failing event. It's just
it's not as big.
Yeah, of course, because the Ryder Cup's the biggest.
Did you know that the Ryder Cup was originally the US versus England?
Oh, really? Well, it sort of means the same thing, doesn't it?
Just England.
Oh, well.
And then it was like the UK and Ireland and all that kind of stuff.
Them.
And then it just expanded to the point where
just,
they're just like, we're running out of players. How about Europe? And they're like, cool, no worries.
Sweet.
Yeah, no worries. Sweet. Yeah, high five.
I like it. No, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, there you go.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, no, that's a cool little question to finish it off. But
that's what I kind of would like to see if you were to change it. But I think the President's Cup is a great event.
You know what we should do? And I'm going to put it out there. And this is sort of at the top of the dome as well. I want the listeners to get in touch with us and give us a list of questions from the second cut that you might not have heard or you might come up with yourself. And then if we get enough of a feedback and enough of a response,
let us know.
We can do just like a half an episode where the second half is literally just us answering these questions, or we can just sort of bank them. Like, I'll give you half. I'll have the other half.
We'll come up with I like that. We'll come up with an episode where we have that 25 minutes, half an hour of a segment
Whatever
that we
talk
discuss, and then we go on to viewers' questions. And honestly, a lot of the viewers have our phone numbers anyway. There's a lot of followers that we actually know very personally,
and we're very contactable through our Instagram and stuff like that.
And if you were to get in contact with us, just shoot us a message. Would you rather something?
Yeah.
Just send us a message. That's actually a great idea. I like
100%. Shoot us a message. Let us know your questions from the second cut you'd like us to ask each other.
I want to hear other people's perfect golfers as well.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Chuck it in the comments.
Maybe explain like a tiny little description why. Like obviously your tee, like off the tee, and like some things will be pretty obvious. But I'd like to see where everyone's head is at with like mentality and short game and irons. And
absolutely. Because everyone's going to have their own idols that they look up to, and it's going to be interesting to see what players are at the forefront of people's minds across each topic.
That's kind of why I threw that Calvin Pete in there.
Yeah,
I actually did that little bit of research as to why, because I knew who he was, and I knew he was.
I think I've seen something about him before.
Yeah, in terms of a stat, like he was a successful PGA Tour winner as well. Like he won, I think. I couldn't even tell you. He won 4 events in one season at one point. And then, he was leading the tour accuracy for 10 straight years. Jeez. It was 1970 to 1980, I'm pretty sure, or 75 to 85 or whatever it was. Yeah, but led that accuracy. So that's why I sort of put that in there.
There you go.
Imagine hitting 85% of your fairways.
Well, that's sort of LPGA sort of stats at the moment.
Because they hit it so good. They hit it so straight.
So straight. It's honestly, it's goals.
That'd be good.
But yeah, I think that's a good place to sort of wrap it up for today. Yeah. We obviously had a very serious and passionate topic at the start, and then a bit lighthearted towards the end, and a couple of questions from the second cut, which were great.
That's what we'll do. It was
absolutely
smooth,
very smooth episode. Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. Be sure to check out all our socials: Instagram, TikTok.
Yes,
go and have a look at the videos on YouTube if you listen on Spotify, and vice versa.
Everything helps.
Everything helps. Reach out with your questions from the second cut you want us to ask each other, or if you want to, we might answer them live on the podcast in a big chunk. But yeah, stay tuned for more podcasts and more clips coming up soon. Massive shout out to Halfcaf Golf,
yes,
proud sponsors or proud partners rather, and supporters of the club. And yeah, we'll leave their link down below. Go and give them a look. Buy a couple of polos; they're really nice. There you go.
Doesn't look any good on him.
No, I'm ugly. So, but yeah, be sure to check him out. Thanks again for watching. We look forward to seeing you guys again next week. And yeah, thank you very much. Cheers.
See yous.